What?
How can you say this? You got some nerve, sitting there shameless. I bled for this order, killed for your peace. You hail my strength, but treat me like a freak. This is outrageous. You treat my power like it's dangerous. I saved your lives, now I'm seen as traitorous. It's unfair. I'm the chosen one, ain't no council pet. You gave me Jedi status, but still show disrespect. Fuck that, I'll burn this temple to ash. I'm done with your crap, I'll teach some younglings their last class.
Take a motherfucking seat, young sky wanker. Yo, entitlement thicker than a hut, getting fatter. Ego inflated like a pirate's bladder. A saber with anger don't make you matter. I hold more power than a Death Star reactor. A mate's fucking win, do no hair, just swagger. You pose like a Jedi, but your presence is weak. I step in the room and the force gets on its knees. You sit in a chair just cause I let you breathe. My purple saber so big it don't fit in a sheath. Boy, you're still a slave. Health's got the leash, while I'm the reason Yoda meditates in fucking peace. Take it away, Obi-Dog.
It's over, Anakin. I am high.
Feeling like a force ghost on a permanent trip in the sky. Hey, go but green in the pipe. Yo, this kush got me deep fried. Had a vision, Qui-Gon said your boy picked the dark side.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Padme hit me up on a late night shift. Slid in smoother than a Jedi mind trick. I felt a great disturbance in my pants. Your girl felt it too. She called me master. I made her wet dreams come true before I left. She said, tell Anakin this.
May divorce be with you.
Yes.
And with that silly fucking intro, I'm going to, unfortunately for you, where is it? We're back there again. Hi, Neris. And you'll see where I mean. You're about to find out. As soon as I... okay. I should probably turn this on. Boom. Okay, now that's turned on, and I'm not talking about the VTuber. And I can do that and this because you can just see what I see up there. See where it says like connecting to chat server and bullshit like that? Yeah. So that's where your chat is gonna show. So I don't need the extra stuff. All right. Last time that I yapped about something, it was commenting on Etheria's views, and that was an extensive video, I'd say, an extensive stream. I mean, that later became a video. So I'm adding a little bit that I feel is relevant. Okay. And she's talking about difficulty problems in Final Fantasy, and I'm very fucking curious about that, considering, the views she's expressed before, or they. I'm not sure. Probably she, though. Though that's an assumption. Okay, I'll use they, but probably she. Doesn't matter. What matters is, and what is the only matter of any importance here, is what we're going to hear. And yeah, this has been like a super awkward intro, but that's because I'm fucking sleepless and clueless about streaming. Anyway, right, let me try this again. We're watching this video and I'm gonna comment on it. There you go. And I wonder what the difficulty problem is. And I have my own things to say about what Square Enix revealed yesterday, and I'll talk about that as well, but because it also touches on the difficulty matter, so this is relevant. As always, I'll do a small sound thingy.
Hi friends, Iberia here.
Okay, a bit louder than I would like, I think. Bear with me as I become your DJ. 1 second.
And I think that Final Fantasy XIV...
I think this is fine. Okay, so yeah, of course, despite... Okay, despite what I've said in the past, right? I don't really personally, dislike the person or something. This is, and I say unlike what I said in the past because how can I explain this without making it complicated? I do hold a certain opinion of the person based on what they've said so far. But what I'm trying to say is that, despite that opinion, I don't really hate the person or anything, and neither should you. You know, that's about it. That's all. Yeah, that's it for real. Yeah. So let's see what is being said here. I have in mind the whole context of what's he said so far. I haven't forgotten a thing for some reason. Just weird memory, I guess. So, let's go. Let's see. I know the context is what I'm trying to say. Where she's coming from, some of her views and all that. So I'm examining this with that in mind.
Hi, friends. Iberia here. And I think that Final Fantasy XIV has a difficulty problem. What I mean by
Yeah, it does. But I also had a very interesting conversation with Kaori yesterday. I think about not exactly difficulty, but also design and all that. Why don't I just pile all that up with changes they're making and then slap that on there instead of here? For now, just keep the fact that, yeah, I have a few things to say of my own. But I wonder what she means about difficulty, and that's going to be very defining. Because depending, I might just not need to watch this.
that is content is either too easy or too hard. So
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. So that's fine. Yeah, that is true. The way they're going about it, right? The way that they seem to be going about it right now after what they revealed is to bloat stuff even more. And I'm saying this just, I'm interrupting here just to make a mental note here of what I want to say later or expand on later. For me, the fact that they're introducing another difficulty setting, yet another version of its fight, is just bloat. I mean, it's still you're still gonna want to go for Savage, right? Because if you're a person who doesn't care about this sort of thing, then you don't care. If you're a person who just cares to get the clear, you can just clear the easy mode. If you're a person who thinks the easy mode is too easy, then you can go for Savage. What is the in-between for, exactly? Because there isn't an audience for it, I feel. Who's going to say, okay, I'll clear the normal version, and then I'll clear the medium version, and I'll stop there specifically? Who says that? Because if you can do the normal version, and if you can do the medium version, then you definitely can do the hard version. But there is not going to be a pipeline of, oh, I did easy, then I'll do medium, then I'll do hard. There isn't such a pipeline. That's not the thing. That's not the thing, because the problem lies with the people, is what I'm trying to say. There are people who either just want it easy, or people who are fucking masochists. That's the two distinctions. There isn't anything in between. And adding another mode is not going to fix that. I don't think. Options are good, but honestly, just give sliders and toggles and call it a day and quit with difficulties at this point. Please just fucking condense them into one and just have people be like, okay, after you clear it without any modifiers, then you can add modifiers, right? And that's it. Add a modifier. Be like, okay, I wanted to have this and that mechanic extra. I wanted to hit this hard. I wanted to require this item level to burn it before in raids. All that shit, take it a step further. Be like, I want to do it with one person. I want to do it with two people. I don't want to do it with 3, 4, 5. Let it scale, I want to do it with no healers. I want to do it with only tanks. I don't fucking know anything. Just do that instead at this point. Making 3 fights every time, either it's going to be slop and bloat, which that's what's going to be, where you just you know, you basically take Savage and remove like maybe one major mechanic or something, and then also lower the rewards, which again, like, why would you go for that then? Just go for Savage. Like that's it. If you're doing that already, just go for Savage. It is like just a fucking, you ate the whole donkey and the tail is left, right? So what are you fucking even arguing about? Like, you know? And I don't know. And for people like me as well, which that is a different matter completely, where you want completion, where you want the clears of the content that is there, for example, you're gonna be like, okay, great. Now not only do I have to do the normal version, I also have to do the medium version and also the Savage version. When am I gonna find people in time for all that? Where I understand this is like a personal problem, sure. But then again, this is a personal stream. And I've also, you know, given you some counter arguments to begin with anyways, which are more general and apply to everyone. Like literally what is the thinking here? Oh, people still want to do Savage but want it to be easier. My guy, do you want to do Savage or not? Like that's it. Like, you know, like what do you mean I want to do Savage but want it easier, and that's why they're not trying Savage? That doesn't exist. That is like that cannot be. Simple as that. You can tell yourself that, but what you mean is, Savage is too hard. I'll just do easy mode. And then Yoshi P is saying, well, you can also have normal mode. What's the point? Sorry, medium mode. Like, well, what's the point? What does that do to that person? It's gonna become their new normal, I guess, and they'll be doing double the fights because they're gonna have to do normal and then like the medium version. Okay, maybe up the difficulty of the easy version and give it a toggle to be like easy mode if people wipe, which is already being done in story. So why not have the new medium version and then the Savage version and then no easy version? And then when you die on medium, it just tells you, okay, do you want to play this in baby mode maybe? Because I just noticed you wiped. You press yes, you get the old easy mode, that's it. Like, why this? And even that is so convoluted, I don't fucking know. Like, just fucking, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't agree with this at all. But yeah, we can talk about it later. These are just like some preemptive, non-structured thoughts that maybe throughout watching this, I will probably reprocess in my head. But like for now, all I gotta say, like the TLDR of it, I guess, is that I feel on first glance that it is just bloat and that it's just going to be just another thing you have to clear before you access Savage. That's it. That, you know, for the experienced raiders, that's what it's going to be. For the inexperienced raiders, or actually for people who Yoshi wants to 100% push into raiding for some reason, either they'll ignore it or it will still be too hard, or they'll just stop there, making it the new easy, quote unquote. Which then what have you accomplished? Like, really, what did you just accomplish? Because they're not going to go into Savage. Even if you have medium mode, they're not going to go into Savage. If they were to go into Savage, they would have already gone into Savage. So this is what? This is like a preliminary version. What for? Like, you don't have to preliminary anything. You can just go into Savage and be like, okay, is it hard? Is it not hard? Because exactly, it's a pipeline and meant to be. So why have a pipeline at all? Just let them go into Savage. If they don't want to, they won't go. If they want to, they will go. Like, you know. Because again, if they don't want to, they will stop at medium. So you have failed at enticing them to go into Savage anyways. You just gave them another fight, which accomplishes nothing because, you know, what are they going to be like? Oh, at least I cleared it in medium. Like, so what? Have you cleared it in Savage? So it's not going to give them that satisfaction anyways. Anyway, okay, let's go on because I can talk about this for a long time.
Let's talk about the hard stuff because I think you all understand what I mean when I say the game is too easy. Especially playing as a healer, I basically spend the whole dungeon or normal mode trial or whatever it is, just pressing glitch.
So this actually is interesting because he's saying that when I do a dungeon, but she has explicitly stated that she doesn't ever do roulettes. To quote here, "What's up, dude? You gotta decide." She said she gets her tombstones by doing like hunts. So trains. So I don't get it. Maybe she does it now and then. I'm just nitpicking. Okay, I got a nitpick because in the previous like videos that I looked off hers. There were contradictions in her statements, and like some were very vague, and like I don't know, it was weird. So my mind just picks it up now.
Glare. I barely get to spread my wings as a healer. There's not very many cleanse mechanics. There's just not a lot going on aside from pressing glare. And many of you may know this about me already, but I find roulettes boring. I never do roulettes.
Yeah,
When I farm my
there you go. So yeah,
tombstones, I pretty much always do hunt trains, which are also very easy, but I just find that they're less annoying than doing a roulette. They're really quick. I can watch YouTube on the side, and sometimes there's silly conversations going on in the shout chat. But anyways,
which is fair, by the way.
let's talk about the hard content because that's what really inspired me to want to make this video. So, if you want a challenge in
I'll give you some context for this. She has claimed in previous videos that she is able to, for example, clear current Sabbaths when it's current on like week 1, day 1. I don't remember what she said. Blind with 2 pulls, for example. So that's a claim. So we're coming from that perspective, and the person who encourages like entitlement in dungeons of tanks, like you tank, you pull, and yeah, that kind of stuff. So I'm giving that bit of context here, and who seems, in my eyes, to thrive in toxic positivity. So okay, I'm keeping that in mind, and especially when we're looking at her video where she was talking about how raiding made her toxic, and at the back she was doing Cloud of Darkness Savage or whatever that's called, Unreal Ultra mode or whatever. I don't give a fuck about the modes anymore. Yeah, she was saying that like, once everyone was like lovey-dovey, I found myself performing better. Like, yeah, it's that kind of thing. And, also VTuber and like content creator Final Fantasy, like it's the whole package. I'm trying to give you the toolkit here that she's using, like, the starter pack she's coming from. So, yeah.
In this game, there aren't that many
my interpretation of it, I'll be fair.
options for that. The main option is Savage, and of course there is Ultimate and even Extreme, but we'll talk about Extreme in a little bit.
And Unreal, but like nobody fucking does that. Like that's bloat, and I'm thinking this new medium mode is going to be bloat as well, but whatever.
You may know that I have raided in Savage a few times. I have been doing this tier. I did P1 and P2S. I did the entire P5 through P8 tier. Skipped the tier after that. I did the first tier of Dawn Trail. I did that whole tier. Skipped the second tier. And now I have done almost all of the final tier. I have gotten to phase 2 of the 4th fight. But the problem that I have...
Yeah, I wonder if that was like in half a pool then.
With Savage is that even though it is a good challenge and I like the kind of mechanical challenge of it and I like to get to spread my wings as a healer and actually press healing buttons, well, there's a few problems, but one of the biggest ones for me is just how long it takes. Because
have we actually... aren't these repeated points, or did I just like watch this video again? I swear to God, I remember her saying the exact same things. Have I watched this? That cannot be. That's like from 2 days ago, right? I didn't even stream 2 days ago. Am I fucking tripping? Or has she used the exact phrases, like the exact sentences, like spread my wings in raids as a healer? I think it's a good challenge, like the very exact thing. And I think even a same or similar fight. Either that or I just got the world's like most insane like deja vu. I could literally swear that we have watched this and she said the exact same things. Let me just
unless you're going to take vacation from work or something, and you have to also be a Giga Chad to do this, unless you're going to do that and spend like 12 to 16-hour days during week 1, because some people do.
Hey, what happened to her claim that what happened to her claim that she can clear in 2 wipes when it's current and it's blind? What happened to that? Are we not going with that anymore?
that and they clear.
I will agree though, like yeah, you need to make it a job at this point. That's how difficult it is. It's not a good challenge. It's like way too difficult. I agree with that. It's so difficult that you have to make it a second job at this point in Final Fantasy.
Clear the entire tier week 1. You're kind of stuck doing Savage usually for months. Most groups take probably 3 to 5 months on it.
3 to 5 months, and then she goes and says, "Oh, I clear everything into pools," and then also says, "Oh, yeah, I've only reached half of this phase, and then also haven't done this fight and haven't done that fight." Okay, cool. That makes sense. Am I right? Like that makes sense. Yeah, sure.
So for me, I'm just not a big fan of that, of the commitment, because I end up starting to feel like Savage is a lifestyle.
But it is. You don't end up feeling that. It is true. Honestly.
And it just gets to be too much, months and months and months of that.
What happened to the 2 pools clear and blind? I really want to know what happened to that. Is that the same person or are they sharing channels or something? Anyway, I'm not gonna like bully anymore, but I will just say like, yeah, you get the point of inconsistencies, right? Whatever. That doesn't matter. We're examining this in a vacuum, supposedly. I'm just like, I'm just nitpicking. Let's put it that way. I don't care. Yes, the point here is that's what Savas has become. That's an issue, which you don't solve by introducing more versions of the same fight. Like, please.
So let's talk about extreme trials, because I think they actually are a great option if you're looking for a challenge, but you don't want that level of commitment that Savage has.
Yeah, but what if you pay for the content and also pay a subscription and you want to do the content, right? It's not entitlement. It's like, that's gatekeeping on their part. It's not like entitlement on the customer's part. It's gatekeeping on the game's part, developers, and also the people who have made it their lifestyle. More power to them, but I also want to do stuff without needing to make it a second job. In my case, a first job.
Because I've always kind of called them Savage on training wheels, because they often have very similar mechanics or mechanic types. Sometimes you even see the same mechanics in Extreme, like Limit Cut, that you might see in Savage. Sometimes they're very similar, or like five hits party stacks, like things like that. They do have very similar mechanics, but they have easier DPS checks, and you can often clear them in a weekend. Some of the easier ones you can even clear in a single lockout.
Yeah, and this is a contradiction because no, they don't have similar mechanics. They're nowhere near each other. We go into Doom Train blind, right? Even lacking equipment, some of us, we just clear it. We go into Savage, we go into like M10 or like M9, that takes like days. Where is the similarity? So it's not just Savage on training wheels, it's not Savage at all. It's like, that's why it's called Extreme Trial. It's like a different thing. It's something that you can possibly do, possibly, depending on the group. Maybe you can do it in like, I don't know, 6-10 pools or something. And yeah, that's it. Like depending on how long it takes you for each pool as well. But yeah, it can be done. Like this is meant to be, extreme trials are meant to be, and I'm not saying they're easy, by the way, but their intent seems to be that you can just go in and do it, you know?
Which I believe
But that's not Savage though. That's not Savage unless you are extremely experienced, I guess, and extremely good at this sort of like gameplay and difficulty.
did for Valley Garmana. I either learned it in a single lockout and cleared it in the next lockout, or like literally cleared it in like a single lockout. I'm not for sure, don't fully remember, but yeah, they're just much more, I guess, forgiving than Savages, while still having similar mechanics that require you to focus, pay attention, stand on your pixel, because they don't have as many body checks, but sometimes they have body checks. So they're kind of a similar thing, but easier. The problem, though, is that we just don't have a lot of them. You know, we only get one at a time, and you'll find that you maybe farm it for like a couple weeks max trying to get like the mount, or maybe you go in a few times to get like the weapon or accessory upgrade.
So there is a truth in what she says. There is very little reason to repeat any fight unless you're looking for like a mount, let's say, or a skin drop. That's the only reason. And then what else is there? Like fights are so static that once you solve the problem, because that's what you're doing. You're not really fighting an enemy. You're just solving a problem. Once you solve the equation, right? It's done, and there is like very little reason to go back to it. Like, why would you go back? Like the same exact thing is gonna happen. It's gonna play out in the exact same way. Like there's no reason, especially if you've gotten your best in slot from there, or the mount if that's what you're looking for. There's just no reason to go back to any fight, to any kind of content, which is why you see this stagnation that Final Fantasy faces in between in between like content drops. It's like nobody cares. There's nothing there to do.
I say upgrade because usually the item level is an upgrade to whatever tombstone is or whatever you have at the time. And then you're done. They don't last very long.
Yeah, Savage is the same though. I don't understand why she's talking about it in the context of extremes. Unless we moved over and I missed it, but like for me she's still talking about extremes. Problem is that the same issue with Savage. The only difference is that like Savage tiers are like 4 fights, extremes are like 1 fight. That's the thing. That's all. Like literally. But again, like experienced people just clear it week 1 and then they drop their subscription even and they just move on. Unless they have like a sweetheart on the side and they have to go socializing and clubbing and all that. That's it. Or unless they're somehow fans of stuff like Sanctuary Island or Occult Crest.
Long. So it's like I think Savage lasts too long, but Extreme for a lot of people is over in like a weekend, a couple days, a week. Even 2 weeks is kind of pushing it. Unless you're really like trying to farm the mount and you need to get 99 totems, you're probably not even doing it for 2 weeks. So low key, I kind of think it'd be cool if we had extreme trial tiers where like 3 or 4 of them came out at a time. Or even 2. I'd be happy with even 2, but I kind of think it'd be cool. See, 4 feels like too much for me, especially after like doing
Okay, but how does this relate to difficulty? First of all, I disagree, of course. Second of all, what does that have to do with difficulty?
Savage and getting burned out on it. But like 3 extreme trials coming out at a time,
Like, what would it do in terms of like the issues of difficulty that Final Fantasy has if we got like 8 extremes instead of 1? How would that affect like how is this like related to talking about fight difficulty? Like, what's up here? I don't get it.
I know that's a pipe dream. I know they're probably never going to do that, but like, I'm just saying, I think it'd be really cool. Because for me, I'm just really at the point where I'm like, why does Savage have to be such a commitment? Why does it have to take so long? I really like kind of the difficulty of extreme trials.
Yeah, and that's what I've been saying forever. Like, Savage doesn't need to be there. Like, Savage doesn't need to be there. Put it all on the difficulty of extremes. Release 5 fights a time, 4 fights a time. That's it, you're done. Like, you don't need anything else. At best, you just need toggles. At best, maybe you need like if a party wipes 10 times, or if the engagement timer runs out and you can't do it, or if the allowed time is like 3 hours but you're still in it and it's 1 hour left, maybe it tells you, hey, do you want to switch to easy mode? That's it. Like that like seriously. Or if you want to be fancy, just add toggles and shit. Turn a mechanic off. Remove restrictions for 2 tanks, this and that. Like remove like don't have to be 8 people. Maybe you want to be 4 people. So basically unsynced. Part of what unsynced is, right? It's easy. It's easy. Oh, but what are the higher ups gonna do? Like the superior raiders, like the elite raiders. I'll tell you what they're gonna do. They're gonna clear it in week 1 or day 1, which will give them a special title and a guaranteed mount drop for everyone. Boom. Yeah, and that's it. Like if you clear it first week, that's what happens. Otherwise, you wait a little bit. You wait maybe 2 weeks, maybe you wait 3 weeks, and it unlocks. And it gives you like all the toggles that I'm saying, and that's it. And then other people can also have their chance. And yeah, there are so many ways, to go about it than what they're doing.
trials because I don't feel pressured to be some like crazy good player. Like,
But you said that you are, though, in previous videos. Anyway, let's disregard that. I'll just always stab it in there. I'm always gonna fucking just backstab here with that, like, forever now.
when we did M11S, not gonna lie, it was tough. The DPS check was tough on us, and we all had to work to be ever so slightly better players and do better DPS and really tighten up our rotations and just improve in any way that we could to clear it. And we did. That worked. We
GG's.
cleared. But it wasn't something that I personally enjoyed because I want to be a healer. I don't want to have to focus on my DPS so much. Like, I'm
Okay, so that is not something to do with difficulty. This is definitely class design and fight design. That's what this is. Mostly class design, but a bit of fight design as well. Because when you've mapped it out, right, as a healer, then you know when to heal. It also becomes static, is what I'm trying to say. Like every job becomes static.
I'm a healer. I'm a healer. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Some of you who are very Final Fantasy 14 brained might not get what I'm saying.
I mean, you are 100% Final Fantasy 14 brain, so that's like, pot meat kettle, and yeah, like, what's going on?
But I am a healer. I'm here to heal, and I understand completely that in Final Fantasy 14, this is a game where healers have the DPS. I've said it myself a million times. It's in my healer guide. Like, I get it. It's a thing. And I try to have decent uptime. I do my ABCs, whatever. Like, I'm doing it. But that doesn't make me better than a gray parse. And I hate that feeling of being pressured that I have to be better than a gray parse, or I'm not a good enough player, or I don't belong in my group, or I don't belong in Savage, or all these things.
I totally sympathize. That part resonates with me. Yes, Savage does make me feel like I don't belong there. Like this is like, it wants me to do things, just like she says, it wants me to DPS as a healer, but I do it, but like I don't fucking enjoy it. That's my thing with Savage. Like, I do it, it's hard. It wants me to push my brain so much. I still do it and I clear, but doesn't mean that it's good. Doesn't mean I had a good time. I had a good time because of my friends. But we're talking content, not like, Final Fantasy has a friends problem. We're talking about how Final Fantasy has a difficulty problem. And I agree with her fully on that one. I know how this feels. The moment she said it, I was like, hey, I feel this way for sure. Not because I play a healer, but because it doesn't matter what you're playing. What matters is like how it makes you feel in the moment, right?
It's not fun for me. It's not a good feeling. We play games to have fun, and it's not a good feeling. And I'm not saying
To be fair, I do think there is some merit to the new difficulty if they handle it like Guild Wars handles Legendary. It's just being bragging rights. It's not going to be bragging rights because Neris, it is a lower difficulty than Savage. Boom, bragging rights out the window. It's done. So what else can it do? Legendary CM. Yeah, but then why does it exist? Because Legendary, Savage being the bragging right here. Okay, so you're saying move the rewards from Savage to medium version and have Savage be the bragging version. They're never gonna do that. They are never gonna do that. It's Square Enix we're talking about. I'm telling you how it's gonna be. I'm willing to put money on it. 150 gold in fucking Guild Wars. I'll give it to you if you win this. But let me tell you what I think they're gonna do. It's just going to be a bloated version of easy, so current normal, right? It's gonna be a bloated version of that, which in no way will it convince anyone to even try Savage unless they were going to try it anyway. In which case, why do you need the intermediary step? Because it won't have better rewards. It's not gonna have anything. I'm telling you that right now. I'm willing to put like Guild Wars gold on it, gems. I'll give you 500 gems. That's it. That's what they're going to do because Square Enix, they refuse to touch what is already there. They're not going to touch it. They're not going to fucking touch it. And you can see it in the new class design. They're not improving the existing design. They're going like, okay, just another version of the same class. Bloat. Literally bloat. Fuck you. Like, it doesn't do anything. Like, fuck that. Just remove the old version. Just keep the new one. Like, what do you need the old version for? For the purists, like, oh yeah, I cleared Savage not only with the item level, but with the old version of the... Like, who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? Why are you keeping it? Doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. Like, they keep everything. They're not going to do something as drastic as what you're saying. And yes, I know that the new guy, not the new guy, the guy who designed the new rotations, what I mean. Yes, you told me it's the PvP guy. I didn't know that. Yeah, I like the PvP rotations more. They're already there. Use those. Anyway, that's a parenthesis. But like, I like the PvP rotations more, sure. But then you get to the point where, why would I not use the better thing over the worst thing? Why not? Like, I think it's a good idea, but why do that and not just fix what's there instead? Like, change it up. Why? For whom are you doing this? Just for the purists, that's all. And because of the whole culture thing of, oh, we don't touch what this sensei or that sensei did in the game, so we're not touching it. We don't want to like insult their work or anything. So this new version is not going to do anything that the easy version does. It's not going to do anything that the Savage version does. It's going to be just a thing that just exists. Yeah, but what does it matter? Like, if that exists, you want to stick with the old thing, right? Let's say you want to stick with the old thing. Okay, what do you earn from that? Like, it has to have a merit. Otherwise, why would you do it, right? It has to have a merit to stick with the old thing. That's why I'm saying the way they design their game, it's gonna be just a matter of which version is actually the best in slot, because that's how Final Fantasy works. There isn't any variation. But if the merit is preferring it, then why are they not doing it with fights? Why have they not done it already? Where it's like Savage is just like the merit of preferring difficulty. Why does it have to have titles? Why does Ultimate exist and has, separate skins? That's not the way they work. It's not gonna be the merit is preferring it. That's not gonna be how it is. Because that's not consistent with the rest of the game. There's going to be something to it, and that something is going to define which version is going to be best in slot to use. And then people will use that, and that's it. End of story. Like, so what did we accomplish then? We replaced one problem with another, and then it's the same problem as well. It feels like. Like, the idea is nice, the potential is there, and like, but all I'm saying is, all the evidence we have points to the fact this is just going to be bloat. I won't say bad or good. I'm going to say it's just bloat. It's just more stuff for the sake of stuff. Just like this difficulty setting, it's stuff for the sake of stuff. Like, what is it doing there? Just fix what you have already. And that's what I was also saying about just making it toggles. For the merit of preferring it, cool. Only have one fight, the normal one. And for the merit of preferring it, just give toggles, and then it's like, okay, I want the tank busters to do 100% more damage. I want this mechanic to not be included. I want all of the mechanics to be included. I want extra mechanics to be included. I want this to scale to 4 people. I want this to, like, why not do that? I'll tell you why, because they're not going to alter what is there. That's the problem. Thereby creating bloat, right? And in the case of classes, you need to give a reason for people to stay on one or the other. And depending on that reason, one of them is going to be better by default. Assuming same skill level, same person, same situation, it's going to be something is going to be better than the other. Because all evidence points to them not being able to create difference. They're not able to allow their players to be creative with their classes and builds. Or there aren't any builds, by the way, or gear. They're not allowing that. They don't want that. which points to the problem of homogenization. They just want everything to be the same. They want everyone to have the same chances. Every DPS, like every melee DPS, not power, that's Guild Wars. Any physical melee DPS, they have to be the same so that nobody feels excluded. You know. And then the problem becomes more obvious because then you have like charts with DPS. Oh, Samurai, this tier is fucking amazing. Best in slot then. Like, why use something else? Does the same thing, it's just the same class, same role, but this one is better than the other one. Like you could say, if you were cynical, you could say we already have the system they're trying to make. Because when you play melee, right? Physical melee, you just choose which flavor of. So it could be, okay, my job is physical melee, and I can manifest that in game either as a samurai, as a reaper, or that's what I'm saying. Different rotations, but same thing, and that's it. One of them is best in slot, you use that. Evidence right now is that DPS classes are different? No, there is none. Zero. There is only evidence that DPS classes right now, with a new system, they will probably either replace or be replaced by the current ones, because one of them is going to be better. Yes, I know you're saying, oh, we need to see. All I'm saying is that sometimes there is evidence pointing to one thing. Enough of it that you don't really need to wait and see. That's what I'm saying. Of course, we wait and see. We can't fast forward time. That's obvious. We are going to find out. But I'm saying I haven't seen any evidence that suggests right now that is in the game that suggests that like what you're saying is true and oh my god, this is going to be such a game changer. Like what are you gonna argue that, for example, as a dragoon you're going to use the 90% damage mitigation to negate a mechanic? Like that's gonna happen, you think? Like I'm willing to put gold that that's not gonna happen. No, you can. That will not happen. They will not allow it. I'm telling you right now, they're not gonna allow that. Like 100%. Yeah, but that's like a common mechanic for the whole group. That's what I'm saying. That's intended to be used that way. I don't think they're gonna give an individual class the ability to interact with the fight in a different way because that breaks the mold of the fight. Limit break is limit break. Like it's not the same thing. I don't think it's something collective that the group has that can do a certain thing. Okay, if you find a way to build it up fast, like for example eating mechanics in the face, you can abuse it to make more of them. That's it. But like it will not it will not be a case where they allow, for example, okay, let's use an easier example. If they intended that to be the case, right? If they intended that to be the case, they wouldn't make it so that teleports and blinks aren't really teleports and blinks. They would have given them invulnerability frames. Ninja teleport would have 100% damage mitigation because it's a teleport, but they don't do that. If you try to teleport across an orange cone or something and it coincides, you're going to get clipped. It doesn't matter that it's a teleport visually. You're going to get clipped physically. You're there. Like under the hood, you're there. You're going to get clipped. Even though it very much is shown to be a teleport, but like, no, it's not, because that would break the mold, you see. Yeah, but you're already supposing that's the problem with your position. You've already taken the best case scenario and you're going with it. That's what you're doing like now. Like you're saying, yeah, it is going to be this way, and that's why I'm saying, you know, you can maybe ignore major mechanics or certain mechanics that are, AoE, and I can see it being abused with it. No, yeah, but that assumes that's how it's going to work. That assumes that variation is going to be prevalent even. Yeah, but you see, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you've already taken for granted all of this, because I'm telling you, the moment, even because it's Square Enix, right, and because we've seen evidence, even if it ends up being used that way, you can expect a next day nerf to the point where then it becomes as useless as sleep, where it just doesn't affect the boss. Like, it just doesn't do anything. You will still get one clip, like, by a boss, maybe not by a mob in a forest, but but by a boss, yes. All I'm saying is, like, you can't base on that, but you can speculate. But when speculating, more evidence suggests that they're gonna fuck this up than it suggests they're gonna do it right. That's what I'm saying. And to your defense, there is, like, when we're discussing that, you're just saying, "Fuck this conversation. We'll see when it's here." I don't want to see when it's here. I want to discuss it now. There's nothing wrong with it. When discussed now, in the current moment, in the present, okay? In the present, yeah, but with the shown infos, we just don't know. With the shown infos, it's like, yeah, this is gonna break mechanics, but evidence says they're not gonna allow it. Yeah, but evidence says they're not gonna allow that. That's what I'm saying. And evidence says, which is my fucking argument from the start, that even if that happens, there is a chance, a very high chance, that one or the other rotation is going to be best in slot. One or the other version of the same class is going to be best in slot for that class. Thereby, bloat. It's nothing, it's bloat. Thereby, why are you even bothering? Just combine them, replace them, just let people make builds. Like in Guild Wars. Why versions? Just give us the whole fucking package and let us, like, mix and match abilities and see what works for the player style, you know? That's why I'm saying they're fucking it up. That's a straw man, though. I never argued that I would play that, or that I wouldn't play that. I'm just presented with the situation, I see the evidence, and I'm telling you what I think is going to happen. Easy. Yeah, but that's because Final Fantasy works that way. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a straw man. Like, in Guild Wars, you don't get to do that. Like, it will work no matter what, right? But in Final Fantasy, it's like either you do this or you do it wrong. Like, legit. That's it. That's what it's always been. Your rotation, two ways, right or wrong. There's no other. That's it. Your versions of your class, right or wrong. That's it. It's not a matter of preference. Sure, I can do it like in Guild Wars. Sure, I can say I'll play Black Mage, but I'll only cast fire spells. I'm just shooting myself in the foot. Yeah, but, like, you know what? I'll tell you one simple thing, and then you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. Like, can we agree that we've had this conversation about every single update in Final Fantasy, that they promised new stuff and showed new stuff, and then it went into the game, and what happened? Can you tell me what happened every single time? They fucked up. They done fucked up. Isn't that evidence that they're gonna fuck up again? Like every update, I feel like we have this back and forth where you're getting kind of hyped, and I'm just not getting hyped, and you're always like, no, we just need to see because it's gonna be perfect. There's a chance it's gonna be perfect. I mean, yeah, there's a chance I'll go out of my house and then a truck is gonna crash in front of me, and there's gonna be like $1 billion there, and I'm gonna grab them. To you discussing about things possibly improving. Yeah, here is the thing, Neris. I've been discussing about how to improve possibly things, like how to possibly improve things for way too many times. Now is not the time for that. Now is the time to see what they're doing. And I see what they're doing and I'm giving my opinion. And my opinion isn't bullshit because evidence supports it. That's all. I don't need to wait. I don't need not to discuss it. I have no obligation to not be negative. Okay, I'm sorry. And I don't agree with what you're saying. I'm sorry. So yeah, and all those are fine. And I can't agree with what you're saying because I'm basing on evidence and previous experiences with Final Fantasy. And I see nothing wrong with that. There's no need for you to just yell at me over and over. Just wait and see. Just wait and see. This might be perfect. Let's just wait and see. Yeah, you do that. You do that. I ain't stopping you. I'm just making my point. Easy. You don't have to agree. But calling me reductionist and then all you're doing is like basically we'll have to see. That's reductionist. You're reducing the whole conversation into just wait and see. I don't have enough faith to wait and see. I will inadvertently wait and see. Okay? I will inadvertently do that because I'm waiting, like I'm breathing, I'm existing. Time passes and eventually this will release. Sure. So I'm already doing that. Your point being what then? That until then I am allowed to notice, I'm not allowed to discuss it? Or be negative about it based on previous experiences? I'm sorry, but that's just wrong. Let me blow your mind. What if I want to be negative about it? What if I want to discuss it? For example, I'm all here for somebody to tell me, okay, there are reasons to be positive, and then I'll see them. But like, what are those reasons based on evidence, though? Other than just wait and see. That's not a reason to be positive. That's a reason to just exist and breathe and wait for time to pass. Like, sure, okay, I'll do that. Not like I have a choice. If you have something to tell me, such as they introduced this and that then, and then they did the same then, and they did that and that there, and then that accumulates and it overshadows the evidence that like they don't give a fuck about what they're doing at this point, then I'll accept it. I'll be like, okay, yeah, you know what? You got a point. Maybe this points to something that they can do right. But that's the main problem here. That's what I'm not positive about because to my liking, to my taste, everything they're doing, legitimately everything they're doing, has just made the game worse for me. And since this is my stream and my opinion and I'm expressing that and nobody else's, well, I can't be positive. I'm sorry. Like, I get it. Like, you want to be hyped. I get it. I also want to be hyped. Honestly. I get it. And it's nice to sit on a Discord server and be like, hey, guys, I knew Maple Story 3 like news release hit and Maple Story 3 is going to be so amazing because they said so and so. You can do that. That's as legitimate as what I'm doing now. But if you're gonna argue with me to change my mind, then argue with me, but don't tell me, just wait and see. Or don't tell me, don't recite what they said, because in the past they've said things, they didn't pull through, and here we are. So that's not an argument, that's not a counter argument to what I'm saying, But if in my infinite stupidity I haven't noticed something awesome they've done when they've said it, please point it out so I can also be positive then. And in fact, I'll take it a step further. Like, I do like the item level sync. I do. That's a good idea, right? Moving away from tombstones, that's a good idea. That is something that they are not obscure about. They're like, okay, we are doing this, we're doing so, and these are good changes. So that's something to be positive about. Right? I like the item level sync. I like the idea of moving away from tombstones and adding weeklies that potentially, which has not been confirmed by the way, might give you a piece of Savage gear. That is amazing if it happens, you know? And that's not something that it's easy to fuck up. It's either they're gonna do it or they're not gonna do it. There's nothing to fuck up, right? If they don't do it, then that sucks. If they do it, that's very positive. Easy to argue, you know? For that, we can wait and see, because it's just an on-off switch. Like, are they gonna give like Savage gear for doing your weekly? Like, is that what we're doing? Like, that would be great. But that's an on and off. Like, either it is or it isn't. But when they're introducing new elements, such as, for example, a whole new difficulty setting, well, I have reason to believe that that's a fucking nothing. It's hot air. It's bloat. I have enough reason to believe that. Or when you tell me, okay, they're doing a second version of a class, I have enough reason to believe they're gonna fuck that up too, and it's gonna be just nothing. It's gonna be a nothing burger, you know. And when you tell me, oh, they're gonna allow, like, potentially that might allow some amazing interactions, Dragoon might jump over AoEs. To me, it sounds like, you know, like a fever dream. Because no evidence suggests that. In fact, I think if anyone does that, they're gonna nerf it the next day, literally the same hour. Because that's just not how they design their fights or their classes. That's the thing. They don't design things around things like that. You know? They don't like it. They don't really like that. When people get creative, you know, they don't like that. They want you to do the fights in a certain way. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, that's it. That's how you solve the fight. That's what's meant to happen. You have to work with that. End of story. That's the equation. You can't break it. You're not allowed. Anything that breaks the equation just doesn't work. Sleep, interrupts, like anything, pull, push, nothing works. In fact, it isn't even there. Because traditionally, Final Fantasy has rejected completely in its class design any kind of utility. So to now announce, okay, we're giving you utility that actually does something, I look at it and I go like, that's not gonna go well, is it? So feel free to counter argue that.
Saying that like my group or anything is trying to pressure me into that. It's just that when you get in a situation where you have your whole group, you know, like you're getting close to the clear and you're not clearing because the DPS isn't there and like things like that, that's when like you all have to push yourselves to try to be better. And that's just not a part of Savage that I enjoy. And that's not to say that I'm not constantly.
But didn't she just say previously that like that's what she enjoys? Like when everyone works together and they're pushing them, and now literally she says, "I don't enjoy that when you have to push yourself and go." Like, what is this person? What is this person at this point? And what she's describing, even though I agreed with the previous stuff that she said, what she's describing now, I don't agree with. My guy, get better gear and just up your DPS and then you'll clear, right? That's kind of the point. It's not actually you're pushing yourself to do more DPS. It's not like you're pushing the buttons faster and you get physically tired because that's what's required. It's just numbers. Like, go get better gear and then you will meet the enrage. Like, literally, that's it. So with that small part there, I disagree. That isn't what makes it difficult. But at the same time, I would agree that Savage is harsh when it comes to its like equipment check. Yeah, I can agree with that. Generally speaking, it should be a little bit more lenient.
Trying to think of ways to be better, trying to use my lilies more for movement and not let them cap and keep my dot up and slide cast more. Like I'm always aware of these things.
It's almost like she's saying that like Savage is unforgiving. That's all she's saying, and I agree.
Because I don't want to hold my group back and I don't want to let them down. But at the end of the day, I just realized that this isn't something I enjoy. I want to be a healer, not someone who's overly concerned about DPS and getting higher than a gray parse. It is what it is, but so that is why I kind of really prefer extreme trials, because they don't have that amount of pressure because the DPS check.
Yeah, because extreme trials aren't like fucking an exercise in self-punishment, like legitimately. And I'm sorry, like you can defend that validly by saying, but that's what I find fun. Yeah, but it's still fucking like literally self-inflicted punishment at that point. You don't see it that way, right? And then people might get angry because I say this, and then they go like, oh my god, that sounds like you're inflicting self-harm on yourself. I'm not. I'm just there for the party. That's it. I can separate the two, and I can tell you I'm just there for the fun of my group, the banter, the funny fails. Like I don't care. I'm fucking around. I carry my weight. So does she. We still have the fun of the group, but we also both agree, it seems, me and Detheria apparently, with strains. We both agree that, like, yeah, that is fucking torture at this point. Like, why can't I have the other things, the party, the banter, the this, the that, the funny fails and the funny clears and all that, without like punishing myself as well? It's such a back and forth that is so stupid, because then somebody can say, but if it's self-inflicted punishment, aren't you being like a masochist at this point? And you're like, yes, but no. And then when you're saying, oh, but that's what I enjoy, the difficulty, then aren't you inflicting self-punishment on yourself as well? And then you can go like, well, yes and no, because I consider it fun. We're saying the same thing. It doesn't negate the point. It is literally torture to go through Savage. It is literally a second fucking job. In that sense, it's fucking torture. You have to find specific teams, you have to find specific times, then you go in and it's so tight, and oh my god, that's what he said. But like, you go in and it's so tight, and you can't make the end raids, and then this, and then like, oh my god, are we competing for world first? Are we fucking? Is this like something like my life depends on? Come on, dude. And then people will say, oh, but then you can just not do it. Boom, got you, because I do have to do it, because I paid for it. I wanna do it. It's not entitlement. That's where the best loot is. I want the best loot. You can't just say, then get better, noob. What you instead should say is, okay, how can we make this accessible and fun? And then you have all the elitists after that going like, oh, yeah, then they're gonna cave in to the make it accessible. Yeah, of course, because it's a game, you moron. It's not meant to satisfy your self-afflicted punishment fucking urges. Go hire a mistress or something for a session if you feel like that. You're gonna have more fun than this, trust me. Been there, done that, for free even. Thank you, Joe. Shout out. But yeah. So what were you playing the game for? To torture yourself? Who is this? For whom is this game designed? For whom is Savage designed for then? And if it's designed for X or Y or Z people, why do the rest have to suffer for it by not getting proper skins that you can dye, proper glam that you can dye, sorry, as you call it in Guild Wars, proper mounts that can drop? Like, okay. You want the punishment? Yeah, you get the bragging rights. Which is what I said earlier. Like, just make it so, forget versions. Just make it so week 1 gives a special achievement and a mount. A guaranteed, not a different mount. Just guaranteed you get the mount. Guaranteed. And the best in slot. Personal loot. Not even a roll. Personal loot. You get it. You'll have the loot first. You'll show it off first. You cleared it. Good. Week 2 or 3, it's open. You can unsync it. You can toggle everything. You can make it baby mode and you'll get the same rewards. And you do it the way you want, bitch. And you enjoy it with your friends. You only have 4 friends? Cool. Even 1 is a treasure. You go with your 4 friends and then you toggle like, okay, we want this to scale to 4 people. And you know what, Mr. Yoshi? We're going to be 2 tanks, 2 DPSs. Please scale. Please remove this mechanic. Please remove that mechanic, because we can't do it with 4 people. And we can't do it with like no healer, so just toggle it off. But we still want to clear it. Like that's how you'd work as a fucking developer. It shouldn't be that hard for a company like Square Enix and for Yoshi P, who's like in the trade for fucking... You fucking leech. You lethargic fucking leech. Wake up. What the fuck are you doing? Moving on.
is lower, you know? But like I said, the problem is we just don't have enough extreme trials coming out frequently
No, we have more than enough extreme. We have more than enough fights coming out. But well, just keep going.
enough for that to be an alternative to people, for people like me who are like, maybe Savage isn't quite the right option. And that's
Like she's trapped in the same limbo that I'm trapped in. Like me and her, we're sharing the same cage. We're sitting there jerking each other off, like so we can have some fun. Like legitimately, we're sharing the same cage. We're in the same cage where we don't like fucking bullshit, like fucking ocean fishing, fucking occult crescent, fucking all that shit. We can do it. Yeah, we do it. Completion. Like I do it. At least I don't know about here. Completion. Sure. Yeah, I'll do it. Whatever. Not occult crescent though. That's crazy. I'm not touching that. That's fucking AI made that. 100% AI made. It's slop completely. And then we try to do these things to keep ourselves occupied from the fact that like there isn't enough mid-core without it being punishing in terms of like, oh, you're not going to get all the loot, or punishing in terms of it still requires the same level of organization. Okay, there isn't that. The easy stuff doesn't give you anything. It's not that it's easy, it's just that it doesn't give you anything. It doesn't do anything for you. This is bullshit. It might as well be a tutorial. It doesn't matter. And then you have Savage. And now Yoshi's telling us, okay, we're going to give you the medium version. What's that going to do? What is that going to do? Give me yet another thing to clear, which will yet once more not give me the loot that I deserve. Okay? And yes, I said deserve. What are you going to do about it? What the fuck are you going to do about it? Okay? Anyway, I didn't mean to use the word deserve. I meant to use the word like we want, right? But we want fairly, because, you know, we're also paying money. We're also putting in the same amount of work. We can put in even more work, but like it's a game though. I don't want to fucking have a second job. I don't want to go back to school, Mom. I don't want to do my fucking homework. I don't. I just want to go in the fight and fucking just play. Just like I do in Guild Wars. Let me fucking play the game. Like, what the fuck? Honestly, like, if anyone else wants more, my guys, just fucking go and do it. Like the way I said, like week 1, day 1. That's it. Bragging rights. You get a guaranteed mount, guaranteed business slot drop. Boom. Done. Move on with your fucking life. Nobody fucking cares except you anyways, right?
That's the thing. I really, really want more options for players like myself who want something challenging, but don't want it to be taking over their life for months the way that Savage does. That don't want such an extreme commitment, or who maybe enjoy the mechanical aspect of fights like Savage, but don't really enjoy pushing DPS. So I've already said that.
Yeah, which brings us to the point of scales, like of sliders and toggles. Because did you hear what is that said? I want the mechanical challenge. I don't want the DPS challenge. Okay, then go into that hypothetical toggle menu, lower the boss's health so that it scales with your item level, or just input your group's item level, your average, which takes 10 seconds to figure in party chat, right? And then that's it. And then just click on all the mechanics. Like we want all of the mechanics, but we just want them to hit this hard. This is boom, done. And there's your fight and you just enjoy it with your friends. It's the same as Helldivers. You know, Helldivers is fun. You just, you know, at least it was the first month. What was fun about it in the first month? Do you know? Select the planet, select the difficulty, select the ratio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or whatever, right? You select that difficulty, you go in with your friends. Could be 1 friend, 2 friends, 3 friends. Doesn't fucking matter. And you just kill bugs, man, and just have fun. That's it. It's like, how is it so difficult? Why can't MMOs be that? Like, I don't fucking understand, because, you know, in the same vein that tanks don't lead groups, tanks manage aggro. That's their job. You might think otherwise, but that's their job. They're not group leaders. They're not pace setters. They're not entitled. The same way, MMOs don't get a free pass for bad design by saying, oh, but like it's an MMO, therefore you are expected to have like 50,000 friends that you're gonna finger snap and they're gonna be like, you know, panting like dogs ready to go raiding with you. Nobody has that. Nobody fucking has that. And when they do, it falls apart because of drama, because they're just sucking each other's dicks in secret and then they fucking break each other's hearts. You know? More power to them for doing that, by the way. But you know what I'm trying to say. It's not realistic, right? Its job is not to be a job just because it's a tank. You see the analogy? Its job is to be basically Helldivers, but like in MMO form. Like, yeah, you go with your character from an MMO and you go into that. You go into a fight. You pod drop into the fight and you've set your parameters and then you have fun and you go back. How is that hard? Like, how is scaling hard for developers for the last fucking 15 years?
Extreme trials, having more of them could be an option for this. I also was really happy with the new variant advanced system because I felt like the fight had mechanics that were challenging, but not really difficult, not too challenging. Like they definitely had mechanics where you had to like focus a little bit, weren't too many like body checks or things like that. And there also wasn't an enrage, so it didn't really matter how good you were as a DPS or as a group.
Are you fucking joking? Wait a minute, is she fucking taking the piss right now? 1 second. 1 second here, Missy.
Having more of them could be an option for this. I also was really happy with the new variant advanced system because I
With the new variant advanced, so is she talking about yeah, if she's talking about the mode she did, she's full of shit. Either she hasn't done it before and she thinks and she's doing the normal mode and she thinks yeah, not the one with enrages, so she's talking about the normal mode. Because we did the other mode, the hard one. The one we cleared. Yeah, the one we cleared I think is exactly where it needs to be. I agree with her on that one. If she's talking about that one, I agree with her. That's where it needs to be. That's the maximum fights should be. The literal maximum they should be that. Legitimately. And they scale. And they scale. So why don't you copy paste that into your Savage? Just copy paste the system that allows the scaling to happen into Savage. Like how? Like bro, they're both fights. They're the same. They're the same thing. It's the meme from The Office. Literally. What was it? Like management wants you to identify these two pictures. They're the same picture. They're the same fucking picture. So why doesn't it scale? I'm gonna fucking blow a gasket. Let's move on.
It felt like the fight had mechanics that were challenging, but not really difficult, not too challenging. Like they definitely had mechanics where you had to like focus a little bit, weren't too many like body checks or things like that. And there also wasn't an enrage, so it didn't really matter how good you were as a DPS or as a group of players DPSing. You kind of just kept doing the fight until it ended, right? So more variant advance would be cool. I hope they will keep going in this direction with variant advance.
I hope they just take this direction and make every fight like that because this is the right direction, like legitimately.
But the thing with that again is the same thing with Extreme Trials is it just is like for Dawn Trail we literally only got one. And maybe that's because the system is new, but I feel like even then I can't expect to get that many of those in 8.0. And I do feel like what they need to do is take all of these types of content that I'm talking about and try to find ways to stagger them so that it feels like we're being fed. You know what I mean? Like the release schedule. Think about that. Have an extreme trial, have a variant advanced in between.
Or how about, and this is gonna blow your fucking mind, but how about no, you already have fights, make them all like that. You already have fights. The rest is labels. Is it labeled Criterion? Is it labeled Extreme Trial? Is it labeled Savage? Nobody fucking cares. Is it labeled Ultimate? Nobody fucking cares. They can just be fights, released fights, that's it. And just do them in the direction that they are following with Criterion, and boom, everyone is satisfied. Add the rewards for week 1 clear, add extra rewards for day 1 clear. That should give a title for sure. Make them free to toggle anything you want on month 1 if you want to be very strict, or week 2 if you want to be lenient. And you have just fixed everything. You have literally fixed the game. You literally have fixed your difficulty problem. Literally. Like the solution is right there. It's right in front of them. And you might ask, what would be different then in week 1 and day 1? maybe don't allow anyone to toggle anything for those days. And that's savage then, you know, quote unquote. Week 3, toggles up, that's it. You can no longer get the achievement. You can no longer get the achievement. Or if you want to be lenient, right, you can get the achievement if you pump the difficulty to maximum again manually. There we go, by toggling and using sliders and percentages. And there you fucking go. There you go. No FOMO either, you know? But if you wanted to be strict, then day 1 and week 1 should have unique titles that nobody else can ever get. Awesome. I can live with that. Awesome. And as I said, week 1, including day 1, maybe gets guaranteed fucking beast drop and guaranteed mount, maybe both. Just work with that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying I'm trying to figure the definite solution, but like work with that. Easy. And then forget all the fucking the enumerations and the fucking semantics. It's unreal. It's criterion. It's advanced criterion. It's like, what are those fucking word salads? Like, it's ultimate. It's unreal. Like, nobody fucking cares. Nobody gives a shit. And then by doing that, pace the release. And then you immediately have tackled the problem that she's having with content drops. So that it's not Savage gets 4 tiers, but Extreme gets 1. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You drop them in staggered drops, and then you're fine. And nobody fucking complains. Nobody has to care anymore what is Savage, what is not, like what is Ultimate, what is not, like whatever. It's fucking bullshit anyways. It's just words. It's word salads. Nothing.
Like I said, I would love to see more extreme trials come out all at once, but that doesn't even seem to be on the radar for them at all. That's just something, I don't even think that's anything that someone's ever even said before. Or if it is, I haven't seen it. That's not something that I see people talk about in like the Final Fantasy 14s.
Yeah, nobody. So here's the thing. Nobody's gonna talk about it out loud. That's the problem, because they don't want to be looked at as the person who is like whining or the person who is a weakling, or anything. They especially among graders, they just they don't want to complain about it.
Sphere among like content creators or things that I see posted on Twitter or what.
And also that's part of toxic positivity as well. We don't touch it. We don't touch the problem. No. It's like there's no problem. But there is a problem. No. If we don't talk about it, it isn't there. Nope, it's not there. Final Fantasy problems, never. Never happened, nobody talks about it. Fucking cult. Honestly, fucking cult.
Not like I don't see people talk about that kind of thing. So I highly doubt like we want more extreme trials is really like on the radar at all. But that variant advanced, those are the kinds of difficulty levels that I kind of like. I will also say the first Arcadian tier that was in Dawn Trail, I actually really liked the difficulty of that.
A lot of people said that actually, and it gave me hope when it first was mentioned, when Kaori told me, oh my god, you're gonna love the first tier. It is Savage, but like the mechanics are interesting and they are more forgiving and they're listening. My fucking ass, Kaori. Bullshit, they're listening. 1 tier later and it's back to suffering. It's fucking Hellraiser. It's Leviathan's maze again. Come on, dude. Shout out to Kaori. There she is. Hey, I summoned you. Hi, sweetie. I am right though. Just suck it up. It's you know what? Going on.
I did end up doing that one in Party Finder for the most part. I did go with my static friends a few times, but I wasn't like committed to the static or anything. I wasn't like part of their static. It was just like a few times here and there. But I did that one in Party Finder.
That was perfect timing. Hi, Kaori. I love that I summoned you, unless you were already here. In which case, you have heard me like rant so much. I let go. Legitimately, I let it rip. And you know what? No regrets. And it's fucking true, though. It's fucking true, though. Anyway, but yeah, no. I mean, like, yeah, it's... you've heard a bit, huh? I see. You've been spying on me. Hacker. Not like I'm streaming or something. But yeah, no, I remember that conversation what we had. Like, oh, you're gonna love it, blah, blah. And yeah, that's true. I do, like, from what I've seen, the first one, so 1 to 4, seems to be actually Yeah, accessible. And you know what else? I'll give you this. In all fairness, I'll give you this as well. In a vacuum, M9, also very good introduction to a tier, right? But then M10 hits. And like just even watching the guide, I'm like, my God, so delicious. Like, how much lube should I use? That's my only question. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of jarring. It's kind of jarring. But anyway, let's move on though with this, with what the anime girl is saying.
Binder. And I think it took me roughly 2 months to finish it all, and I kind of did it casually. So I really actually quite liked that tier, and I
M10 has to be terrible since someone actually plays it. Yeah, nobody wants to even touch it. It's crazy. Like, we dropped our fucking schedule because we can't find people. It's insane, man. I don't fucking know. It's sad. Whatever.
wish that we would have more tiers like that. So I guess what I'm asking for is like, what if
But yeah, that's like, okay, so Kaori, I wanted to recap the conversation we had when you were showing me some interesting stuff at your place and you were sharing screen. And yeah, I was lost with words. I was trying to remember exactly what we were saying because it was like interesting workarounds that we were discussing and interesting circumstances that we were discussing. But yeah, I slept at like 6 at night in the morning. So I can't recall exactly. But it was a very interesting conversation. Very nice conversation. And yeah, let's move on.
we could have a type of content where the mechanics themselves are maybe more complex. Doesn't necessarily have to be as difficult as some of the Savage tiers because I really don't want to see more high concept. I really don't want to see more of this replication one or whatever it's called in phase 2 of M12S. I don't mean that hard. I don't want it to be that hard. But like maybe like extreme level or like first tier.
You know, after all that she said right now, and because I've been agreeing too much with her, and I don't like that about me, I'm going to just leave this on the table very gently. That this is a person that in their own video has said that they clear Savage in 2 pools, blind and current, and that it is easy. I want this to be like really, really driven into there. I want you to feel that wedged between your ass cheeks, that statement, and then hear her say what she's saying now.
Savage level difficulty or like first Savage fight difficulty kind of deal. So mechanically difficult, this is where I'm saying let's have content that's more complex mechanically, more mechanically difficult, but the DPS checks aren't so hard. Maybe there's not even an enrage.
Yeah, but that's where the whole toggles and sliders things that I suggested comes in. Actually, this kind of like workaround is a product of the conversation. Ouch, my fucking knee! I banged it on my desk that I had with Kaori yesterday, where we were talking about that, where like maybe week 1, day 1 are special, and then you get like the options, right? That for example, that idea stems from that conversation, for example.
Maybe instead of an enrage, there could be like a soft enrage where the boss starts.
And also, now that Kaori is here, she can correct me. But I think when we're talking about it, she said something along the lines. I'm not quoting. I'm paraphrasing. That even hardcore raiders, not toxic elitist raiders, but hardcore raiders, they're not really happy with how things are. And Kaori used an example which I have to assume is real, or that is my understanding that it's an actual true story. Even groups who clear, who do, for example, ultimate gauntlets, so back-to-back clears with no deaths, they are also not happy with the state of things, And to that, I will add that the new medium version they're adding, the new in-between version they're adding, that's not going to help with any of that. That's why I'm saying it's bloat. Anyway.
To like hit harder or do the mechanics faster, and like the mechanics come out faster and faster as the fight gets further and further along. So there's not necessarily like a hard like enrage where y'all just die. There's more of like a soft enrage where the boss starts. And maybe instead of an enrage, there could be like a soft enrage where the mechanics themselves are maybe more complex. but there is maybe like a soft in range, and I don't necessarily need that, but I think the reason this could be good would be that there would still be a reward for people who care about parsing, who care about having high DPS, and that reward is that, oh, we killed it faster, we didn't have to get into like the harder
Thank you. Yes. So bragging rights. Thank you.
part of the fight where it starts going faster, that kind of thing. But then for those who like aren't quite as good or don't care about DPSing so much, they'll still be able to clear even if it takes them 3 minutes longer than like the better players. Now, of course, that
2 weeks should be left. After that, unlock gear, unlock Tom Cap, let people, get to, let people get full beast, have fun, do the raid. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I just took it a step further, which is something that I did when we were discussing it as well. And I said, yeah, just open up some toggles there and let people just like customize it a bit. You know?
in itself may sound like a little bit of a conundrum because it's like, okay, the worst players end up having to do these harder mechanics. Not really harder mechanics. Like I said, it would just get like faster, or maybe like the AoEs hit harder, the raid wides hit harder kind of deal. But I think it should definitely be like a slow thing, like a gradual thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, because the way that this is the way that it works, like the way these things work under the hood, I have to assume that it can do scaling, because we've seen it. First of all, as I've said earlier, we've seen that stuff can scale in this game in the same engine. Nobody's gonna allocate like everything to make it happen. It's not an engine upgrade. Like, it can already do all that. And under the hood, I'm willing to bet my fucking account that if they want to, they can introduce a menu that has toggles and sliders for how much damage you're getting, how much time you want to have left, how many people can be there. Like I'm pretty sure that this engine can do that. So the only thing that's stopping them is literally being short-sighted and catering to actually, elitists, basically. Yeah, yes, thank you. Fucking thank you. And probably even more than that. Omit completely certain mechanics, for example. Like, I'm pretty fucking sure. They can do it. They can do fucking very weird things when they want to. They can do very weird things with the engine when it comes to fights, when they want to. So, yeah.
Because I don't know, and that's just me like throwing an idea out there. Maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe it would be better to just say, and honestly, I'd be completely fine with this too. Like, honestly, you know what? All of you like Giga Chads and hardcore players, you have plenty of content. Like, you've got your ultimates, you've got your savage tiers. Like, you know what? Screw you. Let's just have it where it's like more mechanical complexity, but no enrage. Period. We don't even need a soft enrage. Screw it. I mean, it's something they could play with for sure. See how we feel about it. The way that like they played with Criterion and changed that system up, it's a thing. But like I said, I'm just throwing out ideas here because I just really feel like we are missing a sort of difficulty level in this game, and that it would be just a better game.
You're not missing a difficulty level. The fights need to be like, it needs to be done different. Like, it needs to be reworked. You're not missing more bloat. That's being Final Fantasy. This is Yoshi coded completely. Fucking deconstruct it and just think wider. Just you don't even need the separation of Ultimate, Unreal, Devastation mode, whatever else they're gonna introduce like 2 expansions down the line. You don't need that shit. But, just space the content drops, make them all be just fights. Give the toggles, give the 2-week thing, give the 1-day thing, give the 1-day clear, 1-week clear. Like, everyone is gonna be happy. Like, honestly, everyone except the most fucking tryhard are gonna be happy.
And it would be more approachable and more accessible, and more people could try more things. And basically, I'm selfish and I want something for me because I feel like I'm so caught in the middle of like.
Why does it feel like she's like in a confession booth? Oh, Father, I have sinned with my thoughts of maybe suggesting reworks of Yoshi P's work. Oh no, I have sinned, I know, I'm helpless. Salvation is beyond me. But maybe, just maybe I'm being selfish, but listen to me. Bitch, what? Just say it as it is. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But what are you afraid of? That Yoshi's gonna smite you?
There are casual contents that I enjoy. I like doing variant. I found it very fun. Even though it's easy, I did really like it. And it's like I like the complexity of Savage. I just don't like the time commitment. But yeah, I'm just selfish and I want something in the middle for me. Okay? I just feel like there's nothing in the middle, and I'm sure there's other players that feel the same way that I do. And to be honest, I also want more content that isn't even as mechanically difficult as Savage or even Extreme Trials. Or even Variant Advanced, quite. Variant Advanced is like kind of a little bit too difficult for what I would consider.
Man, the difficulty in expressing her dislike is insane. Deconstruct yourself. I don't fucking know. What's wrong with you, girl? Yes, advanced criterion is too hard as well. That is also too hard. Mind you, the only thing stopping me and like Kaori and Neris and Kazumi from clearing that was item level. So it has to be said again that you can't use words such as easy or hard. Or even difficult or not. Like you can't. You cannot. You don't know what's difficult for each person, which again, even more reason to have customization of these things. And forget whether it's easy or not for Bob or Jim. Okay, it doesn't matter. You don't have to say it's one or the other. Who the fuck knows?
Consider mid-core, but it's right towing the line. Basically, I would like to see a difficulty level.
In theory, we have the item level, but we need to really play well. But also, she was saying the advanced, not another we did. Yeah, sure. Yes, I keep confusing the fucking modes, but the point stands. And we have the item level, but would really. But I don't know, Kaori, if I agree with that, because we did actually play quite well. And honestly, we just recent raids and then we just can't fucking have it. So isn't that like, I don't know, isn't that's basically clearing it? Like we wouldn't need to do better because we saw in raids and died to it, and that's how we died. And we just like, yeah, we were like 20 item levels, like lower, 15, I don't know, some kind of number item level lower. We had so many rages with me and Bran on Bees. I was doing over 10k raid DPS more, and we still struggled a bit. Yeah, for sure. But that's then M9S though, with us doing it for the first time. But when we went in Criterion, and that's the difference, we all were on the same level more or less. Also, more people opens up to more problems. Because when you have, for example, more people, then more than one person has to be doing the most ideal DPS they can to compensate for even more people who are going in first time, they don't have the best in slot, like, all that shit. So it becomes even more of an issue. Bran being a healer, by the way, as well. So it wouldn't, if Bran was a DPS in there, for example, and then we had another Bran who was a healer, then that would be a point. True, though it is the first fight, so average opening was 770. We had tons more gear than intended, but yeah, if Bran was DPS, it would be destroyed. Yeah, it would. Yeah, but at the same time, I have to say that, for example, that's where it ties into difficulty, because if I didn't have to think about all of those mechanics, I could perform better, for example. I know it's a very weird argument to make, but hear me out on this. So in Guild Wars, right? And this is a weird argument, but you have to understand the parallels I'm drawing here. So in Guild Wars, I can compensate for many things with being mindful as a DPS. I'm not going down too much, and I am also compensating with a lot of damage, a lot more than I'm expected to do, and blah blah blah. All that shit. I can't translate that into Final Fantasy into any meaningful contribution to the team because even as a DPS, I have to do the same fucking mechanics, which for me that is my weakness. Similar to what the VTuber is saying, Etheria, you you don't want that extra pressure. You're not having fun with it. Guess what happens when you're not having fun? Your brain disengages. When I have to think, for example, about the bats, right? Is it a donut? Is it a PBAOE? Right? Not PB, but like target based AOE. So the donut or the other thing is what I'm trying to say. With the bat there and the chains, and I'm thinking, so I'm trying to do my rotation there, but I'm panicking about the chain. Therefore, my DPS drops a lot, right? My mind is flooded with like information because I can't think in a certain way where it's structured and I have to recall a pattern if I see an indicator and then, the variation of the pattern and all that. Like it is like, my God, my brain just fogs up completely. So if we had options, if we had more customization for the fight, I could make it so that for me it is enjoyable then, you know? Yeah, but of course then you're also far more experienced and that has to come in place because now we also have to keep in mind we're not talking about two players in the same level at all. Like you are arguing top, I'm arguing I'm dying to bats in M9S. So yeah, I get what you initially said, that yeah, if we all played really well at your level, then even with lower item level, we should have technically cleared even the fight we were doing, the Criterion Super Hard Advanced Ultra Giga Chat version, right? Yes, that is possible. But the reason it's not possible is because there are no ways to scale the fight to us, right? In terms of skill, in terms of this, in terms of that, right? So that's an argument for having customization. That's the problem. And it's exactly what she says. It's totally what she says. I could do it. I could do it. But it's just, I can't, my brain just doesn't do it because it's not fun for my brain. It's the same that she's saying. Like, I can do it if I push myself, sure. But I can't. Like, really, I just can't. And that's the whole point of like difficulty, accessibility, and you know, engagement. Like, who are you trying to engage with your content? Why? And what are you and what are you doing to do that? And that's where it falls apart for Final Fantasy completely, in my opinion. And those are the things I'm trying to like rebuke, right? I'm trying to criticize here. Not whether or not for people who are we clear top level of people could technically do that criterion with lower item level. It goes back to what we were saying in your discussion, which was like, okay, people were yelling about the difficulty of, I don't even remember, M11, I don't even remember which one it was, some fight anyway, and they were crying about that, and then, the top fucking raiders, the top dogs, they went in with like only crafted gear and they cleared it. Whoop-de-fucking-do, it doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't tell me anything. It's like, I'm not trying to be mean to you, Kaori, but like, and of course I get your point and everything, blah, blah. Yes, okay, I get it. But speaking generally, not to you directly, but whoop-de-fucking-do. That doesn't really do anything for me, for Miss Casual. Apparently, it also doesn't do anything for Miss I clear blind in two pools all the Savage, which she claimed. Apparently, it also doesn't do anything for her. But that's more me stabbing at her right now with her own fucking sword, basically, which she gave me in the previous video. The reality of it is that, yeah, whoop-de-doo, it doesn't tell me anything if like the top dogs can clear it with like crafted. That doesn't prove anything. It only proves that yes, this content seems to be aimed at them, actually, and that is bad. Anyway, let's let her finish her thoughts as well.
That is more similar to like the critical engagements that you'll find in places like the Bosnian Southern Front or Occult Crescent. These are things where, again, you kind of got to pay attention, see what the boss is doing, dodge the mechanics, but you can get hit. You can make mistakes. You won't die immediately. You can take a hit, you can take maybe two, especially if you have some mitigation or second wind, or in the case of places like Occult Crescent and Bosnian Southern Front, you've got special actions, but in general, it doesn't have to be in a field operation area. It would be cool if we would just see more of this in the game in general, whether that's a new type of content level or something. But yes, this kind of
Yeah, this is where I disagree with her. In case like somebody just tuned in, but like yeah, that's a point I disagree on. This is not warrant for more bloat. It is warrant for rework what you have, like rethink your strategy.
of difficulty where the mechanics are more interesting, it's more engaging, but not super hard. There's no like real DPS check, of course, because when you think about like Basha and stuff in critical engagements, you're not thinking, oh, there's like a deep there. No, you're not thinking about that, right? That's not really a thing. But then also you can be carried through it, like you can with most content, but it just should be more engaging. It has to be more engaging than the normal mode dungeons because
I mean, obviously, nobody. So, okay, let's also clear that up. Nobody's advocating for we want Savage, what is currently called Savage, to be just a dungeon. Nobody's advocating for that, like, to be honest.
honestly, they're so boring. They are so boring. Even some of the normal mode trials are kind of boring. It depends on which ones. Some of them are better than others, but some of them get boring fast because as a healer, you're just sitting there pressing glare. Like you're not, maybe you heal twice in the entire dungeon or the entire trial. Like it's, especially in trials when you have a
Yeah, well, okay, so here I have to complain about the fucking average player here a little bit. So, like, again, we discussed last time about the RNG with getting groups and all that, right? And how that might shape somebody's perception about what's happening in Party Finder, right? So, having talked about that, I have to say one of the reasons I gave up on like getting my daily tombstones or my weekly tombstones is that I can't do Party Finder. Like my RNG with people is literally so bad that I just can't do it. And what she says now, how like this ties to what she's saying. Like she says, okay, I go in and I don't ever have to heal. As a healer, going for my my weekly, for example, token with which I will use to which I will use to take my weapon. Um, it's a pain in the ass because I get in and the group is dying to everything, and as a healer I'm being like extremely hard pressed, and it's nowhere near as relaxed as she's saying, and so there's also that part of this. There's also that to consider a little bit.
co-healer. It's like you don't you don't need another healer because it's already so easy and there's so little healing. And I will say that in Dawn Trail they have been making an effort to make the normal mode content a little bit more challenging. Some of the expert dungeons have been a lot better, a lot more engaging. Um
And now you see, now we're going to places where I completely disagree with her because honestly, you don't need to increase difficulty anymore. Like that was never the solution. I've been yelling like this thinking right here that she's engaging in is what is giving us this situation, which ironically makes her complain about it and me. Except that ironically in my situation, I was always open with it. And I never advocated for increased difficulty. I always said, back from Shadowbringers, you don't need more difficulty. When Emerald Weapon released, right? Yeah, healers are just boring, but like but I focused on the part where she says I don't really have to do anything because no, that's not true because it depends on the group. That's what I was saying, TLDR. So, yeah, it is a healer issue. They are boring, I agree, but that's not what I was saying. So ever since Emerald Weapon released, I remember around the time either before or after. Yes, yeah, but I'm saying that like if you get the groups I'm getting, you ain't gonna be complaining. These guys, you're fighting them. Not only are you not fighting the boss, not only are you not fighting the arena anymore, you're fighting your teammates. Basically, their stupidity. And that is like far more challenging because they can surprise you with how they die or receive damage and when. And, you know, at what intervals. So, yeah, it becomes like a fucking hell, literally. But again, in the previous session or stream rather, I did admit that this is RNG. This is your personal, like, what kind of shit do you get when you queue? Well, I get the worst pieces of shit ever, legitimately. I don't know how, but I consistently do. I get all the elitist tanks. I get all the tank you pull. I get all the weird groups that fucking. Maybe it's the time that I do it. I don't fucking know. But I quit doing it. I legitimately just completely quit. I was like, no. She quit because, you know, she's bored. I quit because I want to be bored. I don't want to fucking have to fight the players. I'm already fighting the arena. I don't need to fight the players too. Um, and their stupidities. And so, what was I saying before that though? Fuck. Come on. This was making a good point. Fuck.
And I feel like challenging is the wrong word to even use because what I'm looking for is engagement, not just.
Oh yeah, right. So ever since Emerald Weapon, we had this discussion with Neris. Like I think one of the developers was doing an interview back then, and he was like a fight designer, right? And we were having this whole conversation with Neris. That what that guy was saying, I don't remember now what he was saying, but to paraphrase that, he was literally saying, "Don't worry, you guys, we got you, my Giga Chads. We're gonna make things increasingly difficult from now on." And that's how I interpreted what he was saying. And I told Neris, mark my fucking words, that's what they're doing. And you're gonna see it. And it's getting exponentially more difficult, right? And Neris was like, no, you can see it like in many ways. You can no. Ever since Emerald Weapon, I've noticed like an exponential increase in difficulty in everything, like across. And all I'm saying is that's not the way to fucking do this. Like it's not the way to solve any of this. Because the more they are increasing difficulty, the less things change for the better. And it also brings up other matters, class identity, this, that. Like, it was never the solution. They should have never gone down that road.
Necessarily a difficult. I mean, I'm looking for both. You know, like I said, I'm looking for the challenge that isn't savage and also just more engaging content that when I don't want to do something as focused as an extreme trial, I can look to do something like a critical engagement level.
And let's clear something else that she said. The amount of fucking body checks, and by body check here I mean you fail the mechanic, you're dead. That's it. It's a body check. Like it's a hard check. Maybe not a body check, a hard check. Okay? Like you die. Like that's it. It one shots. That's why I used to call them one shot mechanics. There are way too many. And the reason that people were saying even dungeons are difficult now and that's a bad thing is because even in dungeons, even in expert right now, it is very easy to get one shot. Like I'm not saying the mechanic is easy or hard or whatever because I don't like using those words to describe things and I've explained why. But whenever you fail something, you're left with like 10% hit points, even if it's a fucking dungeon. And the worst kind of mechanics are those that are in the moment fooling you. And what I mean by that is like, okay, you fail the mechanic, you don't die. You fail the mechanic, you don't die though. You freeze in place, and the next AoE kills you. What's the difference? You can't be rescued. You can't be healed. You can't dispel what happened to you. Sure, the mechanic didn't one-shot you, the next one did, but that's just semantics, that's just technicalities. It's still one-shot. And it sometimes it's masked pretty nicely It's very difficult to understand it, but like you can see it in some even in dungeons, right? Even in deep dungeons it happens. My god, deep dungeons are a fucking shit show of one shots. So we still have that problem as well. We still have that problem. I'm telling you, Final Fantasy has a lot of problems.
Of difficulty. And I really wish that along these lines, they would give healers more healer type actions to do instead of just they press glare over and over and over and heal twice per the dungeon. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see maybe things like more Asuna mechanics where, you know, maybe the tank takes something, or maybe there's an unavoidable thing that.
So all she's saying here is give us more mechanics, but let me just make it better for you. Don't give us more mechanics. The same way that I'm saying don't give us increased difficulty. But allow some things to interact with other things more. So maybe Asuna could, for example, unpetrify someone so that the next mechanic doesn't guarantee one-shot them and you can't do anything. You know, allow rescue to pull them into safety in the same example. Even frozen as they are, and let them time out behind the cover. Like, you don't need more mechanics so that you can use what's there, but allow what's there to interact with more mechanics that already exist. It's different. And if you want to make it really different, so that you're not bored, then make the DPS of healers maybe dependent on how much they're healing. Oh, but then they won't have enough reasons to heal because that's how fights are. Well, yeah, that exposes your shit design. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to fix that too. Or if you don't want to do that, do the opposite. It's like the more you damage as a healer, the more potent your heals get. Easy. Maybe one of the healers does that, and the other healer does the opposite, and now you have identity. Scholar fucking damages better when people are shielded. Blah blah blah. Like you have a billion fucking ideas. Okay, a billion ideas.
That a DPS takes, and I have to estimate that. Even
Like to me, I don't want to sound entitled. Honestly, I really don't want to sound entitled any more than she does. Okay, or any more than Kaori or anyone does. But my guys, it is not believable. It's not realistic that like 3 people from across the world, like Kaori is on spot A, she's somewhere else in the world, I'm somewhere else in the world, and we're only 3 people. More people have ideas, so it's not realistic for me that the whole fucking dev team takes years to even consider the idea, the concept of a jumping class themed after dragons being able to jump over an AoE. Are you for real? You have people just cooking. They're not even paid for that, and they're cooking with your shitty ideas. And you can't think of those things that are simple. As a company of developers, I don't know. I would be fucking embarrassed. Honestly, I would be fucking embarrassed. If I was a developer of Final Fantasy and I was like in charge of these systems and I went on YouTube, right? And I saw her and then maybe me and maybe Kaori and somebody else, and they had like so many good ideas. And I was like, I would be like, man, what am I being paid for? Like, legitimately. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And it's not a flex to say, oh, my ideas are great. It's more like they're so basic that how have they not thought about this? Why haven't they experimented at least? It's whatever.
some of the heal up doom kind of things would be cool, where when you can't just Asuna the doom, you have to heal it, because that could be like a party thing where you heal the entire party to full and then it cleanses the debuff. That would be fun. Maybe some single target unavoidable damage, a little bit more spot healing. Maybe tank autos become a thing again. So we have to pay more attention to the tank, maybe give them a regen, give them a lily here and there, throw them a lustrate, whatever. Like this kind of thing, healers just need to do a little bit more than press DPS buttons. Like, because that kind of thing is just not fun. That's why I have to look for a challenge in Savage, and then I get upset because now I'm in Savage for 10 years and I find, oh yeah, I only like this for like 2 months. Like, that's my thing, is like, I like the complexity, the mechanical complexity. I like being able to press my buttons, but I just don't like the commitment of it. That just, it is what it is. It's nothing against the people that I'm with. Actually, they have made it bearable. I love them so much. And I had a really good time
Yeah, same is like for my people.
for a really long time doing Savage with them because of them. I lasted a lot longer than I did in Party Finder.
Yeah, no, me too. You know, I would have fucking dropped this shit like it's hot garbage, like it's cow dung. I would have dropped it like without exaggeration, maybe about 6 years ago. Legit. Like I don't know if you know my story with Final Fantasy, but it started like this. I made a Dragoon human. I reached level 40, I think. I don't even remember. And then I was like, my god, this is the shittiest game I've ever played. It wasn't just ARR, which was atrocious. It was also that I saw the problems early on. I understood what it means, like pressing my stupid buttons and fighting stupid mobs. I started to understand what this will translate to if I have to fight a boss in a raiding environment. And I was like, no, man, this is not it, you know? And then I met Neris, and, you know, the rest is history. But that's like, I would have left the point. I would have left, like, man, like 5 years ago. It's crazy. If I hadn't left 5 years ago, because maybe you say, maybe you never met Neris, but you kept playing just to try raids, and maybe you liked them a bit. Possible. But then again, it would only last for a couple of years, which is when I started going into was it, what was it called? Was it called like, was it Eden raids? So which one was that? The one that had like birds and portals, for example. I would have the first moment I would have seen this, I would be like, this is it for me. Like I can't take more shit. Honestly. Can't take more bullshit. That's it. So even then I wouldn't have lasted too long either way. So I feel here completely.
I will tell you that. But anyways, back to what I'm talking about with healers and kind of more mid-core content. They should just have more to do. You know, that's what I think. We need more to do. And again, we can't make it too hard, but if we could find more mid-core content to add that is maybe optional, then it
You don't need to add any more content. Like, you just stop being Yoshi coded.
could be a little bit harder. It could be a little bit more challenging. It could be a little bit more engaging. But again, not
Stop with the difficulties. Stop with the hard and easy content. Like, stop it. Stop. It's bad Etheria. Stop.
to the level quite of like Savage, not to the level quite of like extreme. Just something engaging. And then along the lines, because I'm kind of overall talking about mid-core content, and what I see as mid-core content in the game so that we can, I would hope the devs could use these as inspiration to kind of like see, okay, this is what at least Itheria considers as mid-core. This is what people want more of. Another thing I would mention is deep dungeons. And
That's an interesting way to pronounce that name, because for me, at least as a Greek, this is not Itheria. This is Etheria. If it was AE, then it would be Aetheria, you know? Isn't that interesting? But to hear it is pronounced Itheria. So weird.
And I'm hoping they will keep adding them. I think Pilgrim's Traverse was really fun. It was incredible, and I did see that as mid-core content. It starts easier at the lower floors and then ramps up, because at the higher floors, it's like the mobs will one-shot you if you get hit by any of their little AoEs on the ground. You have to strategize a little bit, but it's a different kind of strategizing than what you do for Savage. And it's funny because in that kind of situation, as a healer, it isn't necessarily that I have to do a lot of healing or even spot healing, but it's just so engaging to have to like be careful and strategize and
That that was interesting. What just happened there?
take certain steps, certain precautions to avoid a group wipe. Yeah, and those kinds of mechanics that we see in like Pilgrim's Traverse, in the deep dungeons, could be things that we think about putting other places. Of course, part of the reason that they're fun in the deep dungeon is because the stakes become so high. Because, oh, we could wipe to this, right? So it might not work as well outside of a deep dungeon because like a lot of them are like, don't get hit at all. Um, don't get hit by like the glare from the like the eye attack, where you have to like look away. Those kinds of things. We do already have that other times. And so maybe I'm wrong here and like we shouldn't put it in. But I just, let's get more deep dungeons. I guess that's what I'm saying is like I really
No, you don't need more deep dungeons to make fights more interesting. I feel like she's like regurgitating the whole thing after this, because she also says here like Savage but extreme. Like, yeah, we've been through that. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's been 2 hours. Um, I don't know, and that's the reason. That's a good reason that I'm also not excited about what they're saying in the patch, because these are so much more prominent issues, and I feel these are the issues that need to be worked on. Um, and to me, and until they are kind of changed, I don't think anything else they can do will actually interest me. So yeah, that is also a reason why I'm just not hyped, because it's like, how can I explain this? It's yeah, some of them are positive, but like, can we just address the elephant in the room? I guess that's the thing. They're not addressing the elephant in the room. They're just going like, oh yeah, we're gonna do one or other change, and then yeah, okay. And the 2 hours was in context of I'm gonna go eat something. Um, yeah, I don't even know why she says any of this is toxic. But I guess a person who is full of toxic positivity will think they're being toxic for being critical of certain things of the game that they're toxically positive about. So yeah, that makes sense, I guess. But no, there's nothing toxic about anything that she said here. Um, yeah. All right, that's it for me for Saturday. That's what you get. I was planning to use my camera. Um, in the end, I didn't, and I'm not sure why. But next time I will. And yeah, the problem that I'm having with Skyrim now, we decided to what the, who what? Oh, okay, my flatmate's dinner or lunch. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, for now we removed a couple of mods from Neris' installation so that we can focus, because I don't have the same problem that these mods are causing. And there is also just no way to fucking understand what's going on there. We've tried posting on the forums, we've tried posting crash logs and like analyzing crash logs and all that, and even asking ChatGPT in case it knows something. And just nothing works, and we are at a complete loss. So we decided that for the sake of not holding back my stream, Neris will remove like those 2 or 3 particular mods which are not important. Um, they aren't really anything crucial. They don't legitimately offer way too much for what they are and the trouble they're causing. It's just not worth it. It's not like their animations. It's not like their, structural systems and like gameplay elements. And therefore, yeah, we're gonna remove those 2 or 3 offenders from Neris' installation, and then we will have the same errors. And so on Monday, I can just sit there with Neris, or Tuesday, depending, and I can sit there with Neris Hopefully without having to have cancelled my stream for that. And take care of the other like 4 or 5 issues we've noticed. Hopefully we do them in one session, which is very likely. Then easy peasy, I start streaming Skyrim. So yeah, don't think I forgot it. Don't think I just go back on my word about it. Don't think that like anything. It's just a very peculiar problem with a very specific mod that only Neris has, despite both of us having the exact same fucking installation, the exact same options in every single mod, installed everything in the same order, we have the same rules, we're using the same fucking everything like it's the same. Literally identical. And for some reason, Neris' shit was crashing. There's just no reason. Like literally we can't understand what it is. And so for now, yeah, that's what delayed the whole thing. Otherwise, I would be streaming Skyrim now, you know, which I'm not, as you can see. But yeah, that doesn't mean, oh, we're getting pushed back like another 5-6 months or something. We're gonna sit there and do it like on Monday, and then that's gonna be it, like legit. But we did want to insist a bit, so that Neris doesn't have to be without those 2-3 mods, if we could help it, you know. That's what set me a little bit back with streaming Skyrim. And I thought you should know because, like, I don't want you thinking, oh no, she's not gonna do it after all, or oh my god, she said so and so, but now it's a month later. Like, no, it's not gonna happen. Okay. So yeah, just wanted to keep you updated with that. All right. So for now, I'm gonna leave you. Thanks for watching. It was a more, I'll say this, it was a more reasonable video than the rest that she's done. Even though she's still going, she's still so fucking Yoshi coded though. But despite that, I found myself agreeing with some parts. And it made for interesting conversation. And then we had the whole thing with Neris where we argued about the whole, you know, being hyped about what's coming next. So all in all, let's say good stuff, I think. Yeah. And with that, I will leave you because on Saturday I only stream for a couple of hours every time. And I just watch stuff with you and, you know, we're just chilling. And yeah, I'll see you on Monday, okay? So, ceremoniously, kisses and bye-bye.